Can you all hear me? Okay, well, good morning, everyone. How are you all? So nice to see everybody. Jasmine, if you could help me get everybody in, so I made you co-host, I would really appreciate it. So we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all for participating in this month's PRLU provider call. So we don't have a really big audience today, so I'll try my best to keep it short with you all because I know you all are very busy. But of course, feel free to share and discuss. That's kind of the purpose of the meeting. So we can hear different views from different agencies on what you're doing there because it may help the next person. So thank you very much. Again, my name is Ebony Russ. I'm one of the program managers for PRLU, or the Placement and Residential Licensing Unit. And before we get into our meeting, she may not be on the meeting. Wanted to check if anyone from the background check unit is available. Can't see her.
I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Brenda. So we have Brenda Burr. She's from the background check unit. And before we really got into the meeting, Brenda, I just wanted for you all to kind of give them any updates so that you can have the option to, if you need to leave, then it's okay, because I know you guys are very busy over there. So if there are any updates, feel free to go ahead.
I had a full.
Okay.
I know the meeting with Nija at 10:30. I didn't know it was one today. Hopefully I'll be out by then, right?
Okay. So it sounds like somebody doesn't have their mic
Okay.
muted.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. So when it comes to the background checks, PRLU facilities are to initiate all the background checks. That's their criminal, their FBI, and their maltreatment, and then they're out of state. That has to be initiated within 10 days. Cindy, are you on the call? I don't know if I saw her or not on the call. She sends emails out to this PRLU providers, letting them know what's needed. So if you don't have that initiated within that 10-day time period, then you're going to be not approved. So if you get a not approved in the system, then just reach out to myself or to Cindy or to Kayla, and we'll look to see what might be missing. But that has to be initiated within 10 days, all of it.
So when you said initiated, so I think I got some clarification a little while ago. So initiated also means that they have run fingerprints.
Yes, they have to submit the applicant in the NICAR system, obtain fingerprints, and request that maltreatment, the Arkansas child maltreatment, as well as any out-of-state child maltreatment as well. So if you request it and you don't have the results for your out-of-state, that's fine, but Cindy still needs to get those requests for the out-of-states that you requested it, whether it mean that you sent the email to that out-of-state, or you provide Cindy with the email, or you provide her like a print screen of like your UPS card that you send to that state, something to verify that you're doing what you need to do to request that information from that out-of-state.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Brenda.
You're welcome.
Does anyone have any questions about background checks while we have them available?
I do. So if it's an out of state, if we don't necessarily have to send the application to Cindy, just to let her know that it's been requested, right?
Right. And you can CC her on that email. So if you're doing a Texas one and you can send that request form to her too if you want to, but we just need confirmation, whether it be that email back from Texas that says, hey, this applicant, it's going to take 120 days to get done. We just need verification that you've done it. Whether you send that email with that request or the email that you get from that state to Cindy, we just need verification that you are doing what you need to do to obtain that result.
Okay, so once we start, like we send the child maltreatment and the criminal background in, and then what we typically do is when we get the results back from the child maltreatment, excuse me, then the parent schedules the fingerprint. But so you're saying that all of that needs to be done within 10 days.
Yes. Yes. So when you put them in the NICAR system, you have to get an appointment to schedule an appointment for your fingerprints and have that done. So it needs to say fingerprints complete for us.
What if we have
Unless there's an issue with a reject. If there's an issue with the reject, then that's different. But
right.
your staff need to go get fingerprinted within that 10-day time frame.
Okay. What if we have someone that's been in the system for a while, but is still saying FBI, and they had one back in 2019 saying that FBI is pending.
It says the fingerprints are pending.
Yes, ma'am.
Reach out to me or to Cindy and we'll look at that specific one.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
I'll put
you.
my information in the chat box. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've got a quick question as far as fingerprinting is concerned.
Okay.
When we have fingerprinting for a state that does no longer require fingerprinting for their state, how do we communicate that information to you?
The only thing that you're needing is the maltreatment for that out of state. So placement in residential facilities, it's only the maltreatment that is needed for that out of state.
Excuse me, sorry. Can you put your email and Cindy's in the chat box when you do that?
Yes, I just put
Thank
mine
you
and
so
I'll
much.
put Cindy's and Kayla's as well.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, very good questions. Anybody else have any other questions about background checks?
I have one. This is Carla in Forest City. So once the background is initiated, say for instance, our orientation may start maybe a week and we're waiting on the Texas results. Can we bring those individuals in, even though since it's been initiated, is it safe to say that we can bring them in?
If you are you receiving the 4E funding?
No.
If you're receiving the 4E funding, then you have to have an approval status of approved in the system.
No, we're not receiving the funding. So I just wanted to.
Yeah, that pertains to the ones that receive that funding for the foster children.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm here now, but Ebony, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but for Carla, since she doesn't receive that funding, as long as she's initiated everything within 10 days, then they can bring those staff in.
Yes. Yes. And then so we did kind of clarify with them that initiated also means fingerprints need to be completed.
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
But we can't, this is Sharina from the Girls Shelter in Fort Smith. We can start the staff if it's all been initiated under like supervision for their training hours.
So as long as you do not receive the 4E federal funding, then
Okay.
yes, that is correct. If you do receive that funding, they have to be approved before they are on your campus.
Okay.
If you're not 100% sure, you can always check with Ebony and me. I mean, we can do some more investigation to find out for you, but so that's from what we understand, that is the requirement for that specific funding. So the PRLU licensing is just that if it's, if you're just a regular placement residential facility, it has to be initiated within 10 days.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. course.
Okay, thank you, Kayla. So we do have Misha Martin available, and I'll let her go ahead and give us some clarification on that.
Hey guys, sorry I just interjected and heard this conversation. So I know most of you probably have no idea whether you get 4E funding or not. So it's very simple. If you are a PRTF provider, you just follow licensing regs and you initiate background checks. If you are anything other than a PRTF, acute or subacute, which shouldn't be on this call, then you are required by your DCFS contract to have background checks completed before staff can start. So PRTFs, licensing standards, you have background checks pending. If you are a QRTP provider, a shelter provider, anything basically other than PRTF, you have to have background checks completed, results back, and don't forget that those should be logged into Chris to be in compliance with your DCFS contract.
So this is Jennifer with Haven. Misha, do you or anyone else have a way to speed up like the Texas background checks? Because if you're looking at 4 months, that employee is most likely just not going to take the job.
Yeah, so we've been hearing from a few providers specifically around Texas. Why don't I get back with Sheena Gerard, who's over QRTPs. So if this is a common issue with QRTPs, I need some specific examples that are sent to Sheena, and then we will reach out to Texas and have a call with them. But no, there is no way around it. It is a federal law requirement, so there is no waiver on it. So we're gonna have to just try and work with Texas and get them to get their act together.
That would be great. I did email Sheena this one last week, I believe.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jennifer. And it's around the child maltreatment check, right? Because you're running FBI here and you're running Arkansas ACIC. So the only issue is the out-of-state central registry check, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Misha, I'm so happy to have you because I was just gonna go into our next topic, was really an update about the Arkansas Learns Act. And I was just wanted to let our providers know that when that act passed, it indicated that the Division of Childcare and Early Childhood Education would move under the Department of Education, with the exception of the Placement and Residential Licensing Unit. So at this time, we're kind of like standing by just to see what division we are going to be placed under. But I thought it was important to let all of our providers know that. So everyone else with the Division of Childcare and Early Childhood Education either has moved, I don't know if it's implemented yet, or they will be moving under the Department of Education, with the exception of placement and residential licensing. So just FYI. And if Misha, if you have any updates or anything you'd like to add on it.
No, I mean, thank you, Abby, you did a great job. Thank you. But I just do want to be clear that PRLU licensing is staying at DHS. They are not moving over to the education department. We're actually doing a survey of other states to see where licensing falls within other states, so that a good decision can be made about where the best placement is for licensing. We do plan to make a decision relatively quickly because we want Ebony and the entire team to feel connected to DHS and have a home and not just feel like they're out there. But right now, I'm still working closely with Tanya and Dawn, and they are supported. And Ebony, if you don't feel supported, Ebony knows how to come directly to me. But we really care and value the placement residential licensing, which is also why I'm on. They didn't even know I was going to be on today, but I just wanted to be on and support them and make sure that they're still feeling connected to DHS.
Thank you very much. And so we do still have to report to the Child Welfare Agency Review Board. So any requests that you are needing will still go through the same process as before. So just FYI on that. Thank you again, Misha. So another update is concerning our foster agencies or our foster homes, and this is concerning the regulation of carbon monoxide detectors. So 208.29 indicates that there shall be a carbon monoxide detector on each level of occupancy of the foster home and near all sleeping areas. So we had some further discussion with our director, and she indicated that as long as our licensed specialists verify that there is no gas in those homes, you know, do a complete check, that they will not be citing you all for not having those carbon monoxide detectors, because that has been an issue with quite a few of our foster homes. They were kind of upset, like, well, why do we have to be cited for this? We have no gas anywhere in our home. And so we took that into consideration. And so once they verify that there's no gas in the home, then you will not be cited for that. Any questions on that? Okay. So our next update is just a concern that we've been seeing kind of throughout. So we're having some agencies who are not reporting incidents in a timely manner. So what I'll do is I'll just let you guys refer to your manual. It's it's general requirements, section 110.17. Any questions about that? All right. So we now wanted to take some time to just get into today's discussion. This is open forum, so anybody can participate or ask. And I wanted to talk about diversities in licensed agencies. And so if you all can kind of share with, like, how is your agency preparing your staff or foster parents or just providers in general for cultural diversity among the youth that may enter those homes or those facilities? Like, what does your intake process look like, that when there may be, you may identify someone of Native heritage, or someone may have a Jewish religion, or African culture, or Hispanic heritage. So do your agencies do anything to identify with that cultural difference?
This is Helena from Perimeter Forest City. So we often do receive residents of Native American descent here at our agency. And so what we do is we identify with those residents upon intake if there's any cultural barriers that we need to identify, such as a lot of Native Americans, cutting their hair is very sacred to them. They actually have to do a hair cutting ceremony. So we identify early on if that resident comes in with long hair or shorter hair. Is he starting his journey over, or is he in the process of beginning a new journey? And should we follow those protocols and those, rites of passage if we need to? We've also done like some smudging before for some of our Native American residents. So we do try to be as culturally competent for our residents that come in as much as possible.
Oh, that's awesome. Can you kind of talk a little more about what smudging is?
Go ahead, Helena. Well, yes. Oh, hey, how y'all doing? Hey, Helena. Smudging is a very sacred ceremony where you burn, and it's done in therapy. It's where it's kind of like if anybody has ever burned sage, it's kind of, that's the closest thing that I can identify with it. And it's something that we take complete direction from the resident and or the caseworker. And so it's kind of individualized where you like that. It's like trying to clear their path spiritually so that can be healthy, because in the Native American culture, their spirituality is connected to their mental health. So they have to, clear that in the tone so they can have better mental health. And that's very important to know as a therapist or as a residential treatment facility, when you're treating people from different cultures, diversity. We have a very diverse staff here at Forest City, and we're proud of that. And so, culture, diversity, sexuality, you have to be, because if the kids don't feel safe, they're not going to get treated, and it's going to be a barrier. Another thing we did when we had a Muslim resident in the past, we worked with dietary to adhere to his needs. And when he had to pray, we accommodated that as well. So just being And in training, we're very big about, your personal feelings, your personal views are your own, but here at Forest City, we're about diversity. Everybody is welcome. And if you're not able to handle, those types of conversations, then direct the kid to somebody else who can.
Very good. That's awesome. I think you answered a lot of my questions that I had written down. So, but I'll let anyone else from any other agencies kind of share what they may have been doing. It could be do you have to find different barbers or hairstylists for any of the youth in your programs? Or can you guys just kind of elaborate a little bit more on what you're doing at your agencies? I'm not sure if Shannon Rouse is on here. If she could, is UMCH doing anything with cultural diversity over there? Oh, we can't hear you, Shannon. Okay, I think she may be having some microphone issues. But are there any other agencies that have had to recently address any, I don't want to say issues with diversity at your agencies? Because we know that Arkansas is a really small state. It's like, you're either in a section where it's really like part of the Bible Belt, or it's maybe something different. So we do know that Easter is coming up, and everyone may not, participate or celebrate Easter. So do any of your agencies have any options available for the youth, or is that something that you all just try to not participate in as a whole? Or can you guys elaborate more about how you're gonna kind of work through the Easter celebration that's coming up? Like, what options do you have for youth who do not, or they just don't want to participate in it?
At the Helena again, at Perimeter Forest City, of course, we cannot impose religion on any of our residents. We are having a few Easter celebrations for our residents, but of course it's optional. But for those who do not want to participate, they're going to have alternative activities that are not focused around the holiday to be able to participate in as well. So they'll be able to play on the Xbox, do a spade tournament, do a basketball tournament, while the other residents who want to participate in those we have Easter egg hunt, we have a decorate your own Easter basket thing going on this weekend. So those kids who want to participate in that, those holiday activities can, and those who do not can participate, of course, in the alternative activities for them.
Very good. Does anyone else have any Easter activities planned or not planned at your agencies? Or is it kind of like a free for all, just kind of do what you want to do? Or
hey, Ebony, here at Little Creek today, the kiddos are doing an Easter egg hunt. So they actually started this morning. So yeah, that's what they're doing today.
okay, well, thank you, Ms. Jaylene. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So that's really, I had all for our topic discussion for today, but I did, before we ended the call, I wanted to ask you all if you were having any concerns or issues that needed to be addressed with the licensing unit. It could be anything. Your question may be something that everyone else needs an answer to, so feel free to ask us now. We'll try to get you an answer. If not, we're going to think that we are doing such an awesome job, and I'm going to pat them on the back and have some lunch for them and say kudos.
I have a question. It was brought to my attention, one of the parents said that this child has been going into the refrigerator and drinking from the carton of juice rather than pouring the glass. And excuse me, the parent feels very uncomfortable because the child has gotten infections of the mouth, and that really concerned her health. of her and the other members of the household. So she wants to put a chain on her refrigerator. I told her I didn't think that that was allowed, so I wanted to check with licensing.
Well, ma'am, just hearing that information now, I personally myself would not be okay with them placing locks on the refrigerator. But of course, that's something we can discuss further. If there are concerns with it as far as infection control that needs to be addressed. And so we'll make sure that we get back with you to gather some more information. But just my opinion, I would say, no, please don't put any locks on the refrigerators. But we'll get back with you, Ms. June. So I will ensure that we take care of that. Thank you for that question.
Hey, Ebony, this is Michelle Bridges-Bell. Good morning, everyone. I'm attorney for DCC. Thank you for that question. I will be happy to respond to that in a formal email. If you'll just give me your email, I will respond to that with the regulations for that.
Okay, thank you so much, Michelle. That's a really good question, June. But just being a parent myself, I kind of see both ways. But oh man, it's something. It's hard to hear someone having to put chains on their refrigerator. So let us talk that out. Okay. Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Ebony, it's Shahar Litzy with the Placement and Residential Licensing Unit, Psychiatric Residential Programs. I just wanted to remind any of the psychiatric programs that are on this morning that we will have our PRTF monthly provider call on April the 20th at 10 a.m. So I look forward to seeing you guys on that call.
Okay, thank you. And Brenda or Kayla, I think you guys are having a training coming up. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yes, so I did put it in the chat box for everyone. There is a link there. We are going to have our quarterly background check training on the 26th of this month. It's going to be from 12 to 1. So I did put the Zoom link there. If for any reason you can't access it, or if you have any problems with that link, give me a call or send me an email. My email's there at the top as well. And I'll get you that link directly. You can share that with any of your placement residential colleagues, anyone in your residence, or any of those people that are out there in other parts of your company that may be a separate agency that you think could benefit from this training. Feel free to share that link with them. So we're going to go through the background check process. We'll be answering questions. We do have a guide that we'll also send out with you with all the links, things like how to schedule your fingerprints. There is information for all of your states. So when you have those out-of-state applicants, there are instructions that we have on our website for every state for you, and we'll have the links for that. Any questions that you may have, we'll be able to answer. It will also be recorded and put on our website for future use, so that if you're not able to join us on that date and that time, you can go back and rewatch. So we're really excited. I hope that you all join us. If you have any new staff, any new HR staff, or anyone that will be doing background checks, it's a great time to get them in with us. Myself, Brenda, Cindy will also be there, and we'll be, able to take questions, maybe some more detailed questions that you haven't been able to ask, and we'll be there for that. So if you need anything, please feel free to reach out to us. We are here to help, and I hope that we see you on the 26th.
Awesome. Thank you, Kayla. So before we end, we're still participating in the Best Part of Me project. If that's something that you think any youth at your homes or facilities would like to participate in, just let me know and I can get you that information. And it's totally up to you. It's not required. Our next Child Welfare Agency Review Board meeting will be Wednesday, April the 26th at 1:30 p.m. It'll be here in the conference room of A and B, Dunnigan Plaza South. And so that's all I have for you all today. So If you need anything, send me an email and I will try my best to respond to you as soon as I can. So thank you, everyone, and have a great day.